We're going to click on a couple minutes early just to make sure the streams are up and going. Welcome, everyone. There we are. Perfect. Hey, super excited to have you guys on. My name is Kelby. I am the executive director for HISAdvocates. We are a self-supported ministry. That means we're private, we're not public. That means we don't ask the government for approval, ask the government for things. And as a ministry, and it's really more of a business um, with a ministerial heart. Uh, when you have a business with a ministerial heart, you're going to get attacked and you're going to have all kinds of stuff hitting you from all kinds of ways. We just had a new attack from one of our merchant accounts stating that we can't do government services using a merchant account. I'm like, we're not doing government services, so we got to deal with that. They're trying to hit us from, pretty much every different angle that they can. I'm thinking and I'm praying on it to thwart what we do. So it's constantly one of those things that you got to keep in prayer, and it's one of those things that kind of really blows my mind, and I'm really learning how to handle things within a different realm, if you will, and doing a lot of thinking, a lot of praying, a lot of focus work, and it's working. Just as a quick update, we've had a change of staff in the last 2 weeks. It was not expected. Rob is no longer on the back office with HISadvocates. We have a great replacement. He is anal beyond anything. I love this young man. He's a great addition. He's creating systems already that are going to be next leveling us as a ministry. We're going through the tickets and just prioritizing and getting through them. So just hang tight. Nobody is. I was just telling a buddy of mine, nobody's on a hospital bed bleeding out, man. Y'all have had great service with Rob and our back office team, and it's going to continue to be next level good service. This is one of those. This is not an easy environment to be around. This is stressful. I mean, imagine, if you will, you're trying to free people, and a lot of times you get these stop gaps, and you got to think of new ways to get stuff done and get stuff out. It's not, sometimes people internalize that and take that on, and it's very difficult. You got to learn to put it on the table and let God deal with it. And that's kind of what we do. And so we've had more successes than, and we probably have had more attacks. And I've had a lot of personal stuff and personal attacks. And, these things are a part of, doing what we do. So I want to encourage you guys to just keep us in your prayers and keep us, you know, covered. This is next level stuff, and I'm excited because that's what you do when you free people. You've got to expect a pushback, and we are freeing hundreds and hundreds at a time right now. So I'm excited to work with anybody in any capacity, and we do have this is our biweekly Q&A. I'm going to try to keep it to an hour and get some questions answered. We've had some questions that were shot over, and I lost them. I'm looking for them really quickly. Hang tight. But if you guys have questions, go down to the Q&A. It's a button on the bottom of your Zoom, or if you're over on thank you, bless Miklo. Hope I said that right. Appreciate you, and God bless you as well. Um, it's hearts like that. People don't understand. We have impatient people, we have hard people, we have people that don't have grace, people that aren't walking like they should be, people that, this nation really needs, if anything, more than ever to come together. There's things happening that you guys don't understand. Social programming is at the next level to divide. Let me give you an example. On one post, based on your likes, your desires, what AI knows about you, it's showing you different comments that are heating you up on every post. Then it's showing somebody else with different likes, different how AI knows this person. It's showing them different comments. And what we noticed is the comments now are starting to pit people across the board against each other. And if you ever want to learn how to make a nation fall, all you got to do is divide the people. And so that's kind of what we're seeing here, and it's very unfortunate. But it's just a fact pattern that we got to deal with. Hold on, I don't see it. Come on. What a momentum. Trying to get a longer beard right now. I know. Yeah, y'all were concerned about my hair getting long on my face, looking raggedy. I can't find it. All right. So anybody that submitted questions via email, my apologies, but I can't find the ones that I saw earlier. One needs help buying a property. We have tons and tons of videos on that kind of stuff. We actually help you with docs. If you're going through the living in the private program, we actually have docs on how to purchase property in the private. It's actually purchasing land, which is something you have to consider. Property is not land. A legal description is not land. And people just fail for a lack of knowledge. We don't know any better, you know. And let me kind of give you something to consider on that. Very real. Um, a lot of people don't realize that the county recorder has a dual function. A lot of people don't realize the United States and the United is different than the United States of America. Orange County is different than the county of Orange. The city of Fullerton is different than Fullerton. There is a de jure original lawful non-corporate entity that was created for the people, and then there's always a de facto overlay when the people step down and stop operating on the de jure side, de jure capacity. Well, it's no different in a county recorder. In a county recorder's office, you have a recorder which takes your document, puts it in the public, and it makes it basically first in time on that recorded deed. And then you got to hope that there's no liens or encumbrances against that recordation. So you have a title company that does title searches and makes sure and does a title policy guaranteeing that there's no encumbrances on that property before you're issued a property in the county. Well, I have done so many of these videos, but because I don't have any questions right now. I don't see any in the Q&A here, and I don't see any over here. The reality first is I really want to spend time. People say that we're not detailed in this specific area, and it's because we don't have a product for you, but we help people and they have been successful, and there has been people that are still in the fight. And when you are utilizing the tool set now as a real estate broker in the state of California, I've done thousands of loan transactions as a corporation, a lot personally. I know title probably better than the average bear. So I'm speaking to you from experience. I'm not speaking to you with an attitude. I'm just telling you what I know. And you are not required to record a transaction in the county recorder. So if you purchase a property, you got to ask yourself, what is the ramification if you do not record something in the county recorder on that transaction, meaning your deed? It's not a requirement. But when you do record something in the county recorder, here's what registers it versus records it. And I've always explained this to people. At the county recorder is a registrar, that's a bank, and you're making a deposit of your asset, and your asset clearly says they own that asset. What do you mean, Kelby? It's my deed. I own the deed. No, you don't. And this is a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow, but it is an absolute fact pattern in the law. Your own name does not belong to you. Your mom is the only one to sign on your BC. and she gave you your life equivalent, meaning your live born record, to the state. The state then put it on 32-pound watermark banknote paper, put it into the public, and became your daddy. Now, I can get into that at length. Uniform Commercial Code 9, registered organization, is the birth certificate, is a corporation. It's not you. It is the U.S. citizen. You are not the U.S. citizen, but you're taking that BC and you're going to get a job called driver at the DMV. You're taking that BC and you say, I want to apply and become an employee of the United States through the Social Security Administration. You're taking that BC and you become a voter, a driver, a taxpayer, and all these things. And you think you own the guns that you buy. You don't. You have no clue. Those guns are registered in the state. You are merely a byproduct holder, caretaker of the gun. You think that you're a mom of a child, and you are in all reality. But when you are signing that live born record, you're signing as the informant who turns one over to the state. That's what parent means. It's a judicially decreed guardian. Informant means one who turns one over. And you, the mom, not the dad, the mom, she's listed as mom above. Why don't they put mother in the line? It's because they want to create a contract. They want parent to be in that box, and they want informant box. The signature means one who can attest to the validity of the instrument, the BC. A parent means judicially decreed guardian, and informant means one who turns one over. So I'm attesting to this document that I am turning over my child for the purposes of being a judicially decreed guardian right there in one signature line. And if you think that that's a joke, far-fetched, or a lie, go get your Black's Law and resonate on what I said. Because the Supreme Court has already determined values for those words, and they don't need to use these words. But when you're going to take the life equivalent, the live born record, the birth certificate, you're going to take the life equivalent and you're going to change it to abandonment certificate. One of the definitions of birth certificate or birth is abandonment. Live born record, birth certificate, two different documents. So they take the live born record, they put it on 32-pound watermark banknote paper. They put a QSIP number on it. They put it into the public as dad, the state, daddy. As a matter of fact, it's pretty, you've created a succession of agreements. Your marriage license, listen, guys, marriage license, the Supreme Court has already ruled on this, that the product of the union, because of the license, belongs to the state. Now you're thinking your child, but it's the child equivalent. Let me ask you this. You go buy a car, you get a pink slip, and you sell that car, you got to sign the pink slip over. The car goes with the pink slip, right? Okay. It's like a manifest of everything on board the ship. So you have a bill of lading, or you have a birth certificate with a manifest of everything on board, live born record of this child. I am not only transferring it over, I'm agreeing to being the guardian. Okay. I'm not only transferring my child over, I'm agreeing to being the guardian. You think it's far-fetched? Well, Social Security and not Social Security, the Child Services doesn't think it's far-fetched. They'll come and take your kids anytime they want, right? So it is what it is. And we gotta realize what we have done. And when you have submitted yourself and everything that you own over to the state, is it far-fetched to think you're doing the same thing with your home? No, it's not. Back in the day, trust me, I've seen the deeds, I've seen the patents. I got to go in the underground bunkers and basically the basement of Norwalk, LA City, and got to meet the head of it and who handled it. And I got to see the patent book stacks this tall off the ground. I got to see old deeds. And the deeds are like this: buy gold by hand for a sum of an undisclosed amount, transferring these metes and bounds to be in the vesting known as fee simple, and it was signed by both parties. So what's the difference of that recordation and today? Well, we back then they would put it in a real living man's name. And today the equivalent of the name belongs to the state. So now the state in the office styles manual will say and show you that anything that's in all caps with your name is a corporation. Every governmental agency in the office styles manual for the government, whenever writing on any document within the government and you're writing a corporate name, it must be in all caps. So they're writing the birth certificate name that they are now qualified to own, your equivalent name on the deed. Number one. Number two, you're using Federal Reserve notes. Number three, your vesting is jacked up, called joint tenants, tenants in common. Number four, you're using a legal description that is above the land. And number five, guess what? You're not even signing the deed as the grantee. You didn't accept the deed. Now, I have acceptance of deed packages to show you all the laws regarding acceptance of the deed. You can go to store.hisadvocates.org and pick it up. It's cheap. Bottom line, the deed acceptance coupled with the style of the deed, old school, makes a recordation. When you are registering your property, you are doing it in a form and fashion that says, yeah, I agree. I'm a tenant. I'm using Federal Reserve notes. They are party to the transaction. I'm using a legal description that's in federal territory, and I am recording in my name, which they own. Think about it. Joint tenants, and I'm not even signing the deed. They're paying a transfer tax. They're the only holder with any interest in the property. They own the corporation that you've named it to, and you're a tenant. Is that far-fetched? No. Why do the deeds of old say what they do? Why do the deeds of new and the vesting of new say what they do? Because this company called the United States bankrupted in 1932 or 33, HJR 192, and they couldn't possibly let you own anything after House Joint Resolution or House Resolution 1491 gave the land of this nation over to the corporation for the bankruptcy, gave all the gold and silver, gave all the people in 3 or 4 different acts, the Social Security Administrative Act, the Buck Act, the Trading with the Enemy Act, all done within a 3 or 4 year, and Emergency War Powers Act, all done within a 3 or 4 year period of time. They made employees out of the entire citizenry, took them away from being stockholders to employees, and as an employee made them surety and the collateral for the debt of the nation by giving them an employment ID number. And they now are the stockholders for a defunct corporation. And because they're an employee, they're liable. Get it? These guys are slick. That's, listen, a fact. Okay? Everybody is born quasi-state citizen. There's no such thing as state national, American national. There is a thing called national of the United States and national in 8 U.S.C. 1101, 821, and 22. You don't want to be those. I've talked on this a long time, and there's people out there still touting this. I just went to a website. Can't believe it. They're still touting you want your national status. No, you don't. 8 U.S.C. And I was tricked too. I was tricked too. Hear me out. I was tricked too. But when you start realizing and analyzing that public law from a de facto corporation known as the United States, those guys operating in Congress for a de facto corporation of the United States made public law for its United States citizens. Okay. And for people that want to make allegiance to saying, I'm a national. 8 U.S.C. 1101, 821. Go to Cornell Law, 8 U.S.C. 1101, 821. 8 U.S.C. 1101, 821. Go to Cornell Law, a person that owes allegiance to a state. Click on state. All you're going to see is a person that owes allegiance to different federal territories. You do not see any of the 50 several states of the union. It is a trick. Everything this corporate structure is doing is to bleed out the people to pay the banks for their bad decisions. Every single thing. It's the laws and how they're written to structurally protect the banks who are and have defaulted the people. Now they're coming to chip and mark everybody. Period. They're not even being candid about it. You got guys like Yuval Harari, you know, Klaus Schwab, who are all talking about making sure that they can get you chipped and marked and identified. And they really want the Internet of Things running through your body, nanoparticulate robotic particles. Yes. Yes. Not a conspiracy. Running through your body to work with the one chip that's been on patent scope approved under a U.S. patent, uh, uh, not a U.S. patent scope patent. The chip number is 060606 to work with your cryptocurrency. And what are they doing right now? Oh, yeah, they're stripping the cash. They're stripping the cash. Hey, guys, your savior just got convicted. What's next? Your savior, your blonde god. You know, I mean, there's a lot. I'm not poo-pooing Trump. There's things I don't like about him, and there's things I do. Um, but everybody has been told by all the bigwigs, calm down, do nothing, don't stand for righteousness, godliness, holiness. Check this out. I'm just going to read something to you. Do with it what you want. I don't want to argue. I am not standing on the edge of my seat as a traitor to the greatest nation in the world. I love the United States of America. I think we are so blessed. And in knowing that, you have to know what those founders were. They were treasonous bastards. Our founders, they were treasonous against who? The king. The unanimous declaration of these 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with one another and to assume among the powers of the earth a separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men, black, white, brown, red, yellow, are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with unalienable, certain unalienable rights, that amongst these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments and institutions are institutions among men. We created them. They didn't create me. I don't serve them. They serve me. Governments or institutions among men deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form. Hey, I didn't say an opinion there. I just read something. What is going on? It's crazy out there. You are, by design, being led to hate one another instead of love one another. You are, by design, being told that this guy hates you and that you should hate him back. And I've been saying this for years. We are pitted against one another by the structures, not governmental entities, by structures that control them. I mean, how stupid are we? It's like How much time do you spend looking at your phone all day long getting programmed? Really? How many? How I get it. You want to watch cat videos, cool. You want to play games, whatever. Get your mind off. I don't play games. I'm not saying I don't like them, but I don't. And I have, the game for my TV, but I haven't played games in since my kids moved out, 6, 7 years. Phone. I don't play games. I don't let myself get programmed. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to take back the programming that was done to my brain. I went to an institute in Arizona called BioCybernaut, BIO Cybernaut. The technology is amazing. I spent 7 days over there. It is the most grueling, intense training I have ever done in my life. I think differently now. And I know that we are at war with not just ourselves, but we are at war with principalities and powers all around us. And if we don't gird up and we don't put on the full stack of armor, Ephesians 6, don't poo-poo this, you secular fools. Don't poo-poo what I'm saying. You didn't just randomly appear with a genetically created advanced code called DNA. You didn't go from the goo to the zoo to you. We are created by something with a mind. I know who he is, and I'm wanting you to know who he is. But everything that they wrote about in that book called the Bible, everything, it's all coming to light. Now, either it's a plan to fool us, or Yeshua, the HaMashiach, is the Messiah who came back 2,000 years ago, and he's coming again. I don't know. Got you thinking, there's things, Revelations 13, the mark, and how it's numbered, and what his numbers are, and the tribulation period, how you're going to move away, and you'll be given a mark, and if you don't have it, you won't be able to eat, drink. We are moving to a cashless society, country by country now. I hope Trump gets into office in November or to January 1. I really do. Because even though I don't agree with things that he did, things that he's done, we all can agree we're watching something that appears to be a complete political nightmare. See, Clinton paid off somebody to the tune of $850,000. He wasn't charged. Biden's whole Ukraine thing is paying off people to not indict his son. Not charged. There does seem to be a lot of unfairness happening. But I want you to think about this for a second. Listen to the power that you have to make that stuff happen. Every media, even Fox. Look, go do the gematria on the word Fox. Go do gematria on the word Fox. That adds up to 666. Hey, whoa, it's just me. Love you. Fox News. So you don't know what they have put into design before they even create these things and why it launched as the first conservative internet news. And now you're getting the battles against the conservative nature within that organization. This is why I say right on your phones, download HISAdvocates TV, both on Apple and Android. Get it on your phones because this next year, 2 years, we are the only private, unincorporated, something that God owns, something that belongs to Yeshua. We're the only one on the earth that is approved with Apple TV, Android, Roku, Amazon Fire, Samsung, LG TV. Yeah, go find us on your TVs. Okay. And we're now incorporating, we're doing our first bomb drop. Doctor, a big, I don't want to reveal the name, but a big doctor with, I think, 800,000 followers on YouTube, where he interviewed me on his channel. It's going to drop on the 15th, and we're going to start incorporating those private practices of what he does on HISAdvocates TV to protect them and protect the rights of people to have something other than mainstream medical sourcing of getting help. Mainstream ability for insurance that is private, mainstream ability to understand how to build your own firepower, how to build your own defense. Okay. And I say that with respect to in my own community. Just this morning, we had a down the street, car was stolen between 6 and 8 a.m. Across the street, and down the street, they had a door knock with the security, and they tried to enter the house, and there was a backlash. In Newport Coast, 20 minutes from here, just these are small stats. 45 45 break-ins in the last 90 days. Robbers were killed a month ago coming through a guy's door at 4 a.m. with a security uniform on his jacket. When the guy opened the door, he thought this is a closed, average home, 10 to 15 million community. 45 burglaries. If you think that it's getting easier in this nation with the 9 million people under Joseph Biden's lookalike, you know what I mean? If you think for a second it's getting easier, oh, this is the election cycle. You know what I mean? Trump's going to be in jail or somewhere. He won't even be able to, get his stuff. I hope he becomes president in jail. Come on, man. Come on. That would be the story of stories. I hereby pardon myself. Please open the doors. Thank you. The entire United States military, right? That's the scary part, is it's our military industrial complex is compromised. I believe that. I believe that we're at war within ourselves. I believe China has a serious hold on many institutions within our own nation. I can afford to say that. I can put my 2 cents out. But we live in the greatest nation on earth. There's no greater nation than this one. And it's scary to me to think that we are this close to losing it all. And all we have to do is stand. It is the right of the people, you, to alter or abolish that government and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall be the most likely to affect their safety and happiness. How can you do that when you are like this? I'm not making fun. I'm just saying we're so lost as a people. We're so completely and utterly lost. I always tell people 10% of us helping you, and it's like 30 docs. It's not easy to become free. You have to deal with your contracts. To become a state citizen, you can make a declaration. You got to do it through the Department of State, get your identification, order certified copies of the passport application, deal with the DMV, IRS, voters, SSA. You got to deal with your adhesion contracts. You got to quit all those jobs as the living man. And we do that. I always say that's only 10% of understanding who you are. Do you know the 90% is agreeing and applying the Declaration of Independence? The other 90% of being a man is staying in your home, supporting your family, doing whatever it takes. The other 90% is not letting the world trip you out, standing firm against the enemy.
The other 90% is agreeing with that document and being willing to die for the people that disagree with that document. The people going through our colleges right now are programmed beyond anything we've ever seen in history. Anything. We have never seen such a weak youth and a weak generation of people. They literally are spending credit because they think that it's good to create credit, not realizing a bill comes. That's how screwed up our children are. They are calling themselves he, she, they, them, furry. Oh, how lost are the parents of this nation when your child is identifying as the opposite sex? And how lost is the nation to produce the cash necessary to give the doctor the transferring and the starting procedures to suppress puberty and move a child into transitioning before they can even be an adult and make an adult decision? Disgusting. You doctors, you're disgusting. Our nation needs men willing to die for the people that don't deserve them. Our nation needs a body of people to stand up like we have never seen before and organize. We have a republic. It's already dialed in, and the FBI can't do a dang thing about it. They can do their evil. They can try to shift this, shift that, but they have to operate in a fine line of God's law. They have to go get permission to get certain things done against people that are not in their system. We have a republic. Republic for the United States of America, the only one that I know of that did it right. I am a party to it. I am third or fourth in command as the Secretary of the Treasury, and I am proud to be a party to it. I stood in the hardest of times, not understanding what I was doing before I even got what state citizenship was. And I made a pledge to re-inhabit the greatest nation on this earth with thousands of other people. And we're still here. And you know what? God is going to move on the hearts of the appropriate positions in the military. And you're going to see a fight at the top levels, and you're not even going to know what happened. They're just going to blame it on Trump. What good is happening? God is orchestrating things all over this world. You don't think for a second we don't win in the end? Oh, I assure you we do. Oh, it's an amazing battle. And I'm sure that the people that don't come out of her, that structural system that's paying the ties to that corporation, the whore, I assure those people are going to regret the plagues that are going to be issued to them, Revelations 18:4 and 5. I assure they're going to regret it. And they're gonna say that has nothing to do with my allegiance to the United States. It doesn't matter if I have a driver's license. It doesn't matter if I pay my taxes. As a matter of fact, to be a good U.S. citizen, and it means to be a good Christian, it means you got to be a good taxpayer. Lies from your pastors. My pastor, whom I loved for years, lies. Absolute lies. There's no such thing. To be a good Christian, you got to be obedient to the word of God. Revelations. Let's go to Romans 13. What do they teach? Think about it. I got phones ringing all over the place. Romans 13. What do they teach? Be obedient to your government. If you don't, you're going to have a heap poured on your head. That was Paul talking to who? Okay, let's say Paul's talking to the world. Tell me who your government is here. Governments are instituted amongst men deriving their just powers from the consent. We are self-governed. We are the kings. That's what self-governed means. We only have them for the purpose to keep our God-given unalienable rights protected. That's what the Constitution is about. So pastors are teaching that wrong for us. I don't care if the corporate United States is in power. You still have state citizenship in power, and the Constitution is not dead. Constitution and the Bill of Rights do not apply to a U.S. citizen. Constitution, Bill of Rights only applies to a State of the Union citizen. Therefore, Romans 13, they will have a heat poured on their head if they're not obedient to Kelby Smith. Why? Because I am self-governed. I am one of the ones there to protect. 2 Peter 2:13. It does not say what most Bibles says. It says you must be obedient to every form of human government. It doesn't say that. Christians, it says you may be required. Go read the Concordant New Testament online, free. That's the correct translation of the Greek. I want you guys to realize we have the power. We have the backing from God. We have the power in our founding documents right here. And we're doing nothing. Because people that have big social media accounts are saying, hey, stay calm, don't do anything. We got this. There's people, white hats, people working in the background. Don't do anything. You know what? You are lobsters cooking. There's going to be a time where you're going to squeal and your heart's going to stop and they're going to eat you. That's what's going down. So either you stand or you get trampled on. Either you stand. I'd rather live standing. There's some old thing called I'd rather die than be on my knees. Something I forget what the saying is. Not me. I am going to live and I'm going to stand. And I'm going to stand with all my bros and we're going to keep God in front of this and we're going to defend the innocents and we're going to fight evil. Did I say anything wrong? Am I a terrorist? No. Do I love helping innocent people? Yes. Are there 500,000 kids disappearing in this nation every year? Yes. What are we doing to help them? Nothing. I get emotional when I think about all this stuff because we need to. It's times it's okay. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be angry. It's okay. If we don't do something, literally, there will be just a little bit of hope if Trump gets elected. Just a little. Don't think that AI hasn't done predictive analysis on different scenarios of how to deal with certain things. Okay. Who are you fighting? You need to ask yourself that. What are they trying to do? Well, we know that the Bible's perfect. Not perfect in translation, perfect in prophecy. So we have to consider that. And knowing what we know and knowing the plan is kind of in being enacted right now in this world, we have to consider our families and our own position first. So I want to encourage you guys to pull the Declaration of Independence out and post it in your family, on your wall, read it to your family, and help them understand what the men of this nation did, the 3% did, the pastors did to make you and your family the freedom that you have today. And I want you to post a few of these copies around your city and highlight the areas that are important to your heart. The more that we get this information out, do you know that on our passport applications, We make allegiance to the Declaration of Independence. Why? The founders knew what they were doing. I don't know if they were all trying to trick us or what, but it's the sleight of hand, the level of law, the level of words and wordplay that they did between the first document of the Constitution and the 14th Amendment, and looking how the classification of citizenship changed just by capitalization and just by the placement of words. These guys knew what they were doing, and it slips right by, right underneath. And you say, oh, yeah, that's us. That's what I want to be. Guys, in the streets of the District of Columbia is the design of a Baphomet. It is the Church of Satan symbol in the streets. The top 3 points were the forehead. Y'all have heard me say this. I'm going to say it again. The top 3, it's a Baphomet. It's an upside down star. It's an upside down pentagram inside of a circle with a goat head impression. That's what the Baphomet is. Go to churchofsatan.com, but don't read their ideology. Just go to churchofsatan.com and look. That's a Baphomet. You need to understand who your enemy is. They're stealthy. Only one guy, a Mason, laid the streets of the District of Columbia down. Columbia, one of the definitions, goddess of death and destruction. The monument is exactly 555 feet tall and 55 feet wide around. 6,666 inches tall, 666 inches wide, with 2 red eyes at the top. An obelisk. Do you know what an obelisk is? Go look it up. Form your own opinion. And I can go on with the streets, and I can go on with the designs. Here's the nutshell. The upside down pentagram means a Baphomet. It's identifying who is in control of the region known as the District of Columbia. The top 3 points are Scott Logan and DuPont circles. In those top 3 circles are 6 streets going into each circle. Either sidewalk, their walkways, or street, but 6, 6, 6 across the forehead of the beast. In the middle of the forehead is the 33rd degree, the only one on the earth, Freemason Church, who thinks for the beast. You count 13 streets down to just outside of the Baphomet, who speaks for the beast, is the White House. Now, you don't think they thought that through? You think that I'm just making this stuff up just to cause controversy? Or is there a Baphomet in the streets of Washington, D.C.? And, I hear people say, well, the upside down pentagram doesn't mean anything. Absolutely does, especially the broken one. Go look at my video, Who Are You? I spend 20 minutes on the subject. I break it down right around the 2-hour mark. Who are you? It's on this YouTube channel or HISAdvocates.org. You can find it. Google, just type Who Are You video and it'll come up. Go to the 2-hour mark. I break this down for 20 minutes. And I show unequivocally how this was not only thought through, but why they did what they did. So that's what woke me up in 2008. That's what got me, who was mocking my God? And I was just starting to realize everything was a show in the DC, in the District of Columbia. And those are the things that made me step up and want to be something different. God already knew I was a fighter. God already knew I don't take like bullies. God already knew that he was going to walk me through my fears over the next 6 years of doing these things against this corp. And now I'm proud to be the leader or a leader in this movement of freedom, meaning of putting out state citizenship. Because if you are contracted and you think you're free, you're lying to yourself. Straight up. And I really want you guys to know that freedom only comes because people sacrifice to become free. And these corporations literally, through your marriage certificate, through your birth certificate, have bound you to becoming the surety for their debt. God says, do not be the surety or the debtor of anything. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to preach on the mountaintop. I'm here to get the men organized and help the men to realize the law supports what we do. The law supports us. The Declaration of Independence is not a fad. It is the trust indenture of the greatest nation on earth. And these governments have stepped way outside of where they should. So, unfortunately, these power structures, these corporations, these families own the media, and they own the debt that this nation has taken on. They own the Federal Reserve and then some. And now all of it's moving into a cashless society, and they have a plan. And Trump is not your savior. I'm not poo-pooing it. What if something does happen here? Keep a close eye on that dude. You keep a close eye. If he is able to get back in office, you keep a close eye on Donald J. Trump. Anyway, I'll get back to thank you, Logan, Cindy. Check it out, Doctrine of Lesser Magistrate. Thank you. Can you email that to Kelby at HISAdvocates.org if you find a digital copy? I'd rather die standing than live life on my knees. Yep. Darkness through heavy bonds, captivity, communism. Stealthy. If you look deeper, it can be seen. Amen. Hold on. All right, let me get to whatever questions we have over here. How do I apply for a private trademark in your foundation? It's simple. Go look up private trademark, private copyright. It's simply putting a mark next to the name and putting it in the public. And what that does is, and you got to understand, people are so worried about what other people are going to do with their name. Stop. Just stop. I want you to consider the fact that if somebody's got millions of dollars and they're able to do something with your name, that it's just going to promote the crud out of you and people are going to call you and help you with sales. But trademarks, patents, they work to a degree. As a matter of fact, people that get patents on products and different things like that, or, what have you, there's all kinds of companies in China that will create an equivalent and then market for 2 or 3 years. And then boom, the company's gone. And what does it mean when you're suing a foreign company that you can't find, you can't do anything again? You see what I'm saying? So patents and trademarks are a lot more glorified as special than they really are. They only work long-term for high-tech stuff. So if you just want to trademark your name, like for example, my friend was the first one that owned the name Powerhouse Gym. His name was Sheikh Kontos in SeaTac, Washington. He had the first Powerhouse Gym, and they came after him, but they couldn't do anything, meaning the Powerhouse franchise came after him, but they couldn't do anything about it because he had the first gym ever. And he could have sued them based on the fact that he put a private copyright, but he didn't. He didn't put anything into the public showing that he had a private copyright. And those things are very much protective. And you just got to go associate. If you're going to end up suing, you got to go find the courts that have ruled in relations to private copyrights. But it's just taking it, doing the seal, putting it next to the name, and putting it into the public. That's all. Putting it on the internet on the back of a website somewhere. That's it. How do I change my property deed name? Can you suggest any other remedy to owning my property? If you're living in the private program, we give you a sample deed that you can look at, and if you have any questions, we'll try to help you out there. It's pretty easy. It's actually not very difficult at all. I sent a passport application. They sent a letter saying I am a U.S. citizen. I need to provide a social, and until I provide, that's normal every day stuff, copy that letter, post it to your profile. We'll have a letter response within 24 hours. How would you set up a new business where vendors require EIN or SS to pay out commissions? They can't require an SS, but we would do a foundation with a tax ID number for banking purposes only. And I would give, when you get a foundation from us, we give you the W-9, the tax ID number. We give you a bunch of stuff, W-9, tax ID, foundation docs. You go open up a bank account. That W-9 that we give you is the one you give them, and they'll pay you based on that tax ID number. And you never have to file a return. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, let me see if I got anything over on YouTube. And you know what, guys? I'd love to talk. I love to talk, but I got to get going tonight. There's a lot of stuff. Okay, hold on. I'm printing off sales. Thanks. Page 666. Wow. On the office styles manual. 666. Really? I didn't know that. That's cool. That's irony, right? Okay. Mr. Walker. I don't know what your name is other than what I see here, and I couldn't find it in our system. So if you've got a ticket and you've got something unresolved, do it through the ticket. We have completely replaced back office and we're working as fast as we can. Nobody, including you, are on an operating table bleeding. So be a little more gracious. We have hundreds and hundreds of people being helped, and we're going to get to you as soon as possible. But if you want, you can, I don't do business here. So take that back down so nobody sees your name. Go to your ticket and just put a little nudge there, send an email to me, and with a little nudge, and I'll look up your name. I'll get it resolved ASAP. Okay. Thank you, brother. Anything else? I saw a short video of a 16-year-old boy getting their local sheriff to arrest somebody in a seat of a local authority. His parents are both lawyers. It's happening, people that know the law and are doing things. The sad thing is the cops, everybody is being trained up to completely violate their oath. Like literally police training. There's a big old section of a cadet training to become a police on how to get you to set aside your God-given unalienable rights. And that's on a stop, on a inspection, on a whatever, how this is what they do. That's their job, is to try to get you to give consent, permission. It's called being sneaky. And listen, if you're a lawyer or an officer, us as a nation have more people in bondage than any other nation combined. There's over 15 million people in jails and prisons in this nation. That is a disgusting thing. And if you understood how the judges and how these people make money on prison bonds and prisoners, you would be disgusted. It is no longer okay to say it's acceptable to arrest people for crimes that people did nothing. Nobody else was injured. A piece of paper gets injured. That's not a crime. And I know you've been led to think that it was, but breaking a statute, code, or ordinance is not a crime. It is not. And that's a hard thing for people to swallow. So I really do wish law enforcement would truly understand what they are doing in violating the Constitution when they're violating the rights of the people that they're supposed to uphold, support, protect, and defend. Well, how are you doing that when you're trying to figure out and getting trained as cadets on how to violate the rights of the people? We need law enforcement to be law enforcement. And we need the cities to stop putting an emphasis on these guys to go and make more money for the city. And we need to restructure the cities. We need to close the cities and the counties down, and we need to bring the people up and organize it back under trust law and not corporate law. I can't wait. I see this nation as completely divided, but I see de jure states. I see de jure regions being held. and I see men holding it together. And I see retired military making a big impression on all this and keeping it all together. We've got to work for this. Stop doing nothing is my point for today. If I could say anything, stop doing nothing. Tell people about HISAdvocates.org. We're training on the 90%. We're training on the 10% of how to be free. Tell people about HISAdvocates.org. Next 10 days is going to be very busy for us. 15 days, very busy for us. Have some grace. Calm down unless you are literally bleeding. If you're bleeding, give us a call. That's an emergency. We'll take care of you. But nobody's on any tables bleeding around here. Everybody's okay. And sometimes things go sideways, and sometimes things are hard to deal with. And we are dealing with light and dark like no other ministry. I guarantee it. And it's we're protected 100%. I find it interesting what is being done to try to thwart people from being able to help other people. Like I can't even take a credit card to help somebody do an application process with the Department of State. That's crazy. Anyway, God bless you guys. Have a great couple of weeks. We do these where we answer everybody's questions in the Q&A. And John, I'll answer your question. We do these every 2 weeks to give a free opportunity for living in the private members and for new ones to kind of understand and ask unlimited questions. I've already answered 2,000 questions, and because that's how many nuancey things there are, and I've been redundant on a lot of topics. But now what we're doing is we're building the social, the FAQ, and the autoresponders on our website to utilize the videos that we've already produced and normal responses for people so they can get immediate help, support responses, and where to look to get information. So we're working hard in the background to make things happen. Our entire system is going to change over the next 90 days. And you guys, I promise you, you're going to love it. Many of you are going to be free a lot quicker. And it's not just documents wise, we're changing up things because we're going stealth, and I'll explain that here in the near future. But God bless you. John's asking, should I use my humanitarian foundation EIN to assign the check to the foundation? I would. So if you have a check and it's not made out to the foundation, you simply endorse the check on the top, on the back, with whatever name is on the other side. So if it's made out to you, you endorse it, your full living man signature. Underneath that, you put pay to the order of this entity, whatever foundation name, deposit for lawful money only, for credit on account number, and then endorse it one more time. So if you need to get that again, just post the question to your ticket and we'll do it. God bless you guys. Have a great couple of weeks. We're not going to produce a lot of video content, but I do have a video I want to warn everybody about. I went into Albertsons grocery store. I went into the normal organic section that I go, and they're spraying it. And I just happened to ask the guy, I said, what are you guys spraying this with? And he's all, and I'm going to show you the pictures. And I'm going to show you what they're spraying our food with. The organic food in Albertsons at a minimum is being sprayed with chemicals, preservatives, and it's not good. So your organic food in grocery stores has to be, what do you need to ask, what are you spraying it with? I know I was in Sedona last week and I asked the not Mothers, but the other one, the other store, forget the name, I'm blanking on the name right now, but I asked them, what are they spraying the groceries with? The guy said reverse osmosis water. I'm like, all right, that's great. So you need to go to your grocery stores and let's hold them accountable. If any attorneys out there want a lawsuit, Albertsons is definitely lying to the people with their signs and their stuff and what they're doing to keep those groceries alive a little longer. But God bless you guys. Thank you. I'll see you in 2 weeks. And then I'm going to try to do a living HISAdvocates TV show tomorrow. I'm going to try. If I can't, forgive me. There's stuff going on we're trying to get in front of, but we're doing a big work for this nation and a big work for many hundreds and thousands of people. So just do your little Zen, your little yoga, pray to your God, whatever it is you do. But if you really want peace, Jesus, that's your peace. I'll see you guys. I'll see you in 2 weeks.